What do you reckon? This has to be a record for the most number of extensions ever used. He actually suggested that I scrap the car.
Hello and a warm welcome back to the Kilohertz Mercedes channel, and welcome to episode 5 of my Project C-Class series. Now if you've been watching the series, you would have seen that last episode we got the car fully road legal and got it an MOT. Now today we're going to take the car out on dog duties. We've got Fred in the back of the car. This is the original purpose of the car, remember? Hello Fred. Well, there's a bit of a design flaw with this car. You can see him getting stuck through the net. We'll go on that later. Anyway, between the last video and this, we've had no end of mechanical problems with the gearbox and the starter motor. And in this video, I'm going to go through exactly how we solved those issues to get to the point where we are now. Let's get started.
So you join me here, stranded at the petrol station, miles from home, and I'm just waiting for the car to cool itself down. So what I've managed to figure out is that after being stranded here for over an hour, as soon as I start the car when the engine is hot, it immediately blows the starter relay fuse. I had to do a little bit of Googling to find that out. So it keeps doing it time and time again, but as soon as the engine is cool again, it will start with no issues, and hopefully should allow me to get home okay. So this happened last night and we weren't 100% sure of the symptoms, but now it's been confirmed. Luckily I have a number of spare fuses with me. There's no errors or anything appearing on the dashboard. I simply insert the key into the car and start it, and as soon as I turn the key I hear a loud click coming from the engine bay, and then the car's completely dead. Now each time when the fuse is blown, wherever the engine is hot, the fuse immediately blows. Now the original fit to the car is 15 amp fuse. Here I've tried it with a 20 amp to see if it makes any difference, but yet again it still blows once again. Now don't dare try it with any higher amperage, as I don't want to cause an electrical fire, of course. So with no error codes appearing on the dashboard, as a process of elimination I wanted to go ahead and scan the car for any errors. This is my Chinesium version of the Zentry Star Diagnostic tool. Now I can't get any coding to work with this setup, but it is excellent still for any code management. It should be able to pick up all the codes which virtually all of the third-party ODB2 scanners still cannot. A quick scan here reveals 3 error codes as indicated on the right hand side of the screen with the F for fault. Looking through these doesn't really reveal anything of any use. We have a faulty alarm battery, which is really common on cars of this age, an open circuit for the car's coolant level sensor, which you may have actually spotted as an error on the dashboard earlier in the video. And finally, an error with the overhead panel, something to do with the sunroof. It works completely fine, so I'm not going to worry about that. But yeah, nothing of any use which might relate to the starter issues. After a load of research on forums etc, it turns out that it's almost certainly a result of a broken starter motor. Now it's not really a surprise, is it, when a car's got 173,000 miles on the clock. So the car's going to be going back up in the air. Now this time we're going to go around to Ed's place instead of mine. He has every possible tool you can imagine for working on cars. Added to which he has one of these amazing quick jack lift systems. Now these are a real game changer compared to a standard trolley jack, as you can see. You can easily get completely under the car at once, safely and securely, without having to lower and then re-raise up the car multiple times in one session. So the starter motor is located on the passenger side of the engine, behind the wheel arch liner, and apparently it's a complete pig of a job to change. For right-hand drive cars it's actually easier than left-hand drive for once, as the steering column isn't in the way, so that's one thing which is in our favour. The motor itself is held in by 2 e-Torx bit long bolts. There's one which is fairly easy to get to, which is on the underside, and then there's another one which is above, which I've already read is a total pig to get to. And regarding that upper bolt, this is what you need in order to access it. No joke, we raided all of both my socket extensions as well as all of Ed's. Have you ever seen anything more ridiculous? Thanks, Mercedes engineering department. And here we have both the original OEM Vallejo starter motor, and then next to it the pattern part replacement. Now, to get an OEM replacement, you're looking at nearly £400, so I opted for a cheaper alternative, patent part. Yeah, it may not last as long as the original, but we are on a budget with this project after all. And what was the end result? Fixed, of course. It's now working again every time, even when the engine is hot. No more getting stranded at petrol stations. So the car is fairly high spec with its AMG body kit. However, the car wasn't fitted with xenon headlights, only the ancient halogen headlights with their very orangey yellow bulbs. Now, these were fine back in the day, but in 2025 lighting's come a long way, especially as my other car, my SL, has some xenon headlights which I've gotten used to. Now, back in the day between 2010 and 2014, I used to import some LED side lights, that's the W5W or 501 wedge side lights, over from the US. Now, I sourced a supplier who created them with Cree LEDs. Now, back in the day, these were almost unheard of at that time for an aftermarket LEDs to be Cree. Now, the difference is that these were vastly superior, especially back then. These lights emitted an almost perfect white light. At the time, all the white headlights which people sold were actually very purpley or blue in output. Added to which, the units which I sold were also CAN bus error free, meaning that no errors would appear on your dashboard. Now, the reason why errors which would appear is that they drew significantly less power than standard side lights. As a result, the car's CAN bus system thinks that the bulb is blown. Now, my LEDs had resistors fitted to them to fool the car into thinking that normal bulbs were fitted. I also want to upgrade the main bulbs, the dip beam, but I don't want to go down the aftermarket LED route on these, as they'd no longer be legal here in the UK. So after some research, it appears that the whitest bulbs are these Philips White Vision Ultras. Still extremely yellow compared to xenons and LEDs, but an improvement over the stock bulbs nonetheless. With the car fully road legal and a year's MOT on it, we were enjoying it as a family workhorse and a dog car until disaster struck. One morning, the car just wouldn't shift out of second gear. Now, I tried pulling over at the side of the road and switching the car off and back on again once again, hoping that this would make a difference, but no avail. No errors have appeared on the dash, so it would be another case of connecting the car up to the scanning machine to see if anything came up. It didn't. Whatever I did, it just wouldn't shift past second gear, which was of course difficult when you're driving a fair long distance. Alright, so as you've just seen, gearbox problems. Now, it's a real shame because we're on episode 5 now. I've had the car a good couple of months. We've done so much work getting it shipshape. Got the car legal, and I was driving around with it for a couple of days, all good. I was really enjoying what the car was like to drive. I was really impressed. And then just getting it, and then it got stuck in second gear. Actually, that sounds like the intro to Friends, doesn't it? It's like you're always stuck in second gear. But yeah, what do I do next? So the car was cheap, as you all know, and I've spent a considerable amount of time and money getting the car to the situation we're in now. Now, the first option I've got is going to get a full gearbox flush. I've gone ahead and purchased from Mercedes an actual OEM flush kit. You get new oil, new gaskets, etc. Looking online, a lot of people say that's the best thing you can do, or the first thing you should try is just flush out the oil, and a lot of time it can sort it out. Added to which, I'm not even sure the level of oil which is in the car. I have noticed that there is a kind of, sometimes on the driveway, there is a patch of oil below the gearbox. So it could have been doing it for ages, and it could just be a situation where the oil in the gearbox is so low it's causing these problems. It's probably unlikely. I did phone around to a gearbox specialist, and they were like, no, if it's stuck in second gear, you've got a problem with the pressure. He actually suggested that I scrap the car. So next week anyway, I'm going to get my car, the flush kit done. My garage themselves are not keen on the outcome of it, but I've already got the kit, so there's no harm in doing that. Next up, the gearbox specialist quoted about £2 to £2.5 grand for me to get the gearbox rebuilt. Not keen on spending that much money on top of how much I spent already on a 19-year-old car. And then the last option is I look out there for a second-hand 722.6 gearbox. Now this was Mercedes' 5-speed workhorse for many years, and it's supposed to be bomb-proof gearboxes, in fact. I guess I'm the one with the exception. But yeah, if I look online second-hand, there will be plenty out there. The issue you need to do is make sure that you get the correct variant. You get so that the car's computers can talk to the gearbox control unit. Also, you need to make sure that I get the right converter for it, etc. So, a couple of options on the table. I'm not, at this point in time, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. As I say, I've got next week, we've got the flush going to happen. We'll see what happens there. And one last thing which I'll include in this episode is the very un-German design flaw which you have with the built-in dog guard. Now don't get me wrong, the built-in retractable dog guard is great, but what is the point when you have two giant gaps either side of the car? Now Fred isn't staying put, he wants to come up front immediately. So if you enjoyed this series and you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done already, consider clicking on that subscribe button and this bell icon so you're notified when I upload a new video. It's completely free. And thanks so much for watching and reaching this point in the video. Until next time, cheers.